आज इस वीडियो लेक्चर में हम मिड टर्म एग्जामिनेशन का पेपर फिज़िक्स 10 क्लास फिज़िक्स का पेपर सॉल्व करेंगे। तो सबसे पहले चलते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 की तरफ। क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 में हमारे पास चैप्टर साउंड से रिलेटेड एक क्वेश्चन मौजूद है दैट लाउडनेस ऑफ द साउंड डिपेंड्स ऑन विच फैक्टर। सो लाउडनेस जिन फैक्टर्स पे डिपेंड करती है, अमंग दोज फैक्टर्स टाइम पीरियड इज नॉट अ फैक्टर, mass and intensity of the vibrating body are not the factor. So the correct answer in question number 1 is option A, that the loudness depend on the area of the vibrating body. Question number 2 we have is Hamid is playing a guitar, and as he stops playing, the vibration of its string gradually decreases. So this process is known as damping, or we know that in damping the amplitude of the vibration decreases as the time passes. So we have this option 2, that is the correct answer, and the option B we have will be the right answer for this question number 2. Next question number 6 को देखते हैं. In question number 6, underwater depth and small objects can be used to detect by using sound waves. So, which of the following is used in this process? So, we know that we have studied the uses of ultrasound that is used to measure the underwater depth and small objects. So, the correct answer for this question is option B. Let's come to the question number 7. The difference between loudness and the loudness of the faintest sound is known as. So, where L is the loudness of the particular sound and L naught is the loudness of the faintest sound. जब हम इन दो साउंड का डिफरेंस लेते हैं या किसी भी पर्टिकुलर साउंड का कंपैरिजन देखते हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द फेंटेस्ट साउंड, दिस इज नोन एज इंटेंसिटी लेवल. So let's move to other question, that are question number 3, 4, 8, and 9. So in question number 3, the characteristic of sound that distinguish between two sounds of the same pitch and the same amplitude. So we have studied different characteristics of sound. Among those characteristics, we have studied that the characteristic of sound that can differentiate between the two sounds of the same pitch and same loudness. This is known as quality of the sound. Next, we have question number 4, the frequency that is audible to human ear. We know that the audible frequency is from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So, among those four values, we have option B, 500. That is the correct option. 500 frequency sound will be audible, while the other are not audible to the normal human being. Question number 8. Light waves are electromagnetic waves. So, this means that electromagnetic waves can transport the energy through solids, liquids, plasma, and vacuum. So, the electromagnetic waves are those waves that do not require any medium. In any certain medium, they can transport energy, while in the absence of medium or in vacuum, they can also transport energy. So, the correct option is option D. Let's come to the other question, that is question number 9. Which of the following is not the major effect of unwanted sound or noise on human? So we have studied different effects on human. Among those that were hypertension, that is caused by the noise pollution. Similarly, irritation and stress are the effect that are caused by the unwanted sound or noise. So this diabetes is the option, or this is the cause that is not caused by the unwanted sound or pollution, noise pollution. Let's come to other question. We have question number 5. Which of the following will transmit the fastest sound? So we know that the speed of the sound is fastest in solid, while it is minimum in gases, and speed of sound is zero in vacuum. So the fastest sound will be option C, that is solid steel. Question number 10. If the speed of the sound is 350 meters per second and the wavelength is 5 meter, we have velocity and we have lambda. And we have to find the frequency. So F will be equals to velocity over lambda. Velocity is 350 and wavelength is 5. So after division, we will get the correct answer, that is option B, 70 hertz. Let's come to another question we have, that is question number 11. Which of the following is true about the vibrating body at mean position? If a vibrating body is at mean position, so we know that this is the mean position of the vibrating body, where the weight force is cancelled out by the tension force, so the net force and acceleration both are zero, while kinetic energy and velocity are maximum, and height and potential energy are zero. So in this question, velocity is not zero at mean position, potential energy is not maximum at this position. So we have two options that are correct in this question, that are kinetic energy is maximum and acceleration is zero. So we unfortunately we have both of the questions, both of the options C and D are correct in this question number 11. Question number 19. Which phenomena of the wave is involved in the shock absorber in different vehicles? Shock absorber are the main component of the wheel and axle, in which different bumps on the road and the vibration in the car body can be absorbed by the process of damping. So the correct option is option A. Question number 12. If the length of the simple pendulum is increased by 9 times, so what will be the effect on the time period? So the formula of time period is 2 pi square root L over G. So we know that if we increase the length by 9 times, then the time period will increase by square root of 9, that is option A. Time period will increase by 3 times. A body of mass m suspended from a string L undergoes a simple harmonic motion. Then which of the following is true about the period of the oscillation? So we have four options. The period increases with mass. That is incorrect, because mass time period is independent of the mass. The period increases with the amplitude. This is the wrong answer, because time period is independent of the amplitude. The period increases with decreasing length. That is this is the incorrect option. The period increases with increasing length. Time period is directly proportional to square root of length, and time period is inversely proportional to the square root of g. So the correct option in this question is option C. In question number 13, simple harmonic motion, the acceleration is proportional to. We have studied the basic condition or characteristics of a simple harmonic motion. Among those, one of them was this: acceleration is directly proportional to negative of x, where negative is the amplitude or the displacement of the vibrating body, while the negative sign shows that this acceleration is directed towards the mean position. So correct option we have option C, that is amplitude of the vibrating body. So let's come to the other question, that is question number 21. Which statement best explain the difference between the longitudinal and the transverse wave? So we know that in a longitudinal wave, if this is the direction of wave and particles move in that way, so this is longitudinal wave. And let's say this is the direction of wave and particles of the medium move in this way. So this is known as transverse wave. So particles in the longitudinal wave travels towards the force, while particle in the Transverse wave move away from the force. That is the incorrect answer. Particles in longitudinal wave travel in the direction of wave, while particles in the transverse wave move perpendicular to the direction of wave. So we have option B, that is correct answer for this question. Question number 14. A particle oscillating in a simple harmonic motion is never in equilibrium. That is wrong answer because at mean position, particles in equilibrium. Option B, never in equilibrium. This is wrong answer because, as I said earlier, particle at the mean position will be in the state of equilibrium. It is in the equilibrium at the center of the path because the acceleration is zero. That is the correct answer because at mean position or the center of the path, the particles have zero acceleration, while its acceleration is zero. That means the particle is in a state of equilibrium. Next, we have an object attached to one end of a string makes 120 vibrations in 12 seconds. So we have to calculate the time period. So time period is equals to time divided by number of vibration. So 12 over 120, so we will get 1 over 10, that is equal to 0.1 seconds. So correct option is option C. Question number 22. The frequency of the wave increase and the wavelength remains same. So what will be effect on the speed of the wave? So we know that V is equals to lambda F, where wavelength is same. Wavelength remains constant, its mean frequency and speed will be directly proportional to each other. By increasing the frequency, velocity also increases. So correct option is option A. So quickly let's move to another question. So next question we have is question number 16. If the length of the pendulum is halved, so what will be the effect on its period? We know that time period is directly proportional to square root of L. So if we decrease or half the length of the pendulum, so time period will decrease by square root of 2. So option C is the correct answer. All of the following are the types of transverse wave except one. Water waves are transverse wave. Waves produced in a rope are the transverse wave. Or wave in a string are also transverse wave, while the nature of sound is longitudinal wave. So the correct option is option D. In a vacuum, light rays, gamma rays, and infrared rays, and ultraviolet rays. These all are the electromagnetic waves. It means they all will have the same speed. So the correct option is option B. Question number 24. In if a device contains an oscillator that produces wave having the frequency of 1 exponent 6 hertz, then what will be the time period? So time period is equals to 1 over f. So 1 over f means 1 divided by 1 exponent 6 hertz. So 1 divided by 1 will be 1, and 10 raised to the power 6 will become minus 6 seconds. So time period is 1 exponent minus 6 seconds. The correct option is option A. Question number 18. In a motion of a simple pendulum, the restoring force is provided by which type of force? So tension force is cancelled out by the horizontal component of the weight force at mean position. The tension is cancelled out by the whole component of the weight. Similarly, at extreme position, this pendulum force tension T and this weight force is splitted into its component, where Wx and Wy are the component of the weight force. Wx and tension force are cancelled out by each other, so the restoring force that brings the pendulum towards the mean position is Wy, that is the vertical component of the weight force. So the correct option in this question is option D. So let's come to the other question, question number 25. Acoustic protection is one of the important techniques in use in propagation of sound waves, and this acoustic protection is obviously used to absorb the undesirable sound. Option B is the correct answer. Question number 23. The occurrence of total internal reflection is only possible when. So we have studied two characteristics or two basic conditions of a light to possess total internal reflection. We know that angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle, and light must travel from denser medium to the rare medium. So angle of incidence greater than the critical angle, and light travels from dense medium to rare medium. So 2 and 3 are the correct answers. So option D is correct option for question number 23. In question number 26, where should an object be placed to get erect and virtual image by a concave mirror? So we know that concave mirror is a converging mirror, and this point is F and this point is C, and this point is known as pole. If we place an object ahead of this focal length or focus point, or the object lie between F and P, so the image formed by this mirror will be erect, magnified, and virtual. So the correct option is option C, between F and P. Next, question number 34. Where will an image be formed in a convex lens for such that the magnification is 1? So by magnification equals to 1 means that size and position of image and object are same. If the size and image of the object is same, so magnification is 1. And we know that whenever an object is placed at 2f, or the center of curvature, the image formed by this mirror or lens will be equal to the size of the object. So correct option is option C. Question number 27. The focal length of a concave mirror is 10 centimeter. This is the focal length. An object of height 5 centimeter is lying at focus. So we know that whenever we place an object at focus of a concave mirror or convex lens, so the image is formed at infinity. Image is formed at infinity that cannot be defined. So the correct option is option D for question number 27. So let's move to the other question. Question number 28. The phenomena due to which the pool of the water appears less deep than the actual depth. So we have studied that this process is known as refraction, and due to this definition, or with the help of this definition, we can also define the refractive index, that is equal to the uh, real depth under the liquid or any medium divided by the apparent depth. So this is equal to the refractive index. Correct option is option B. In question number 35, if the angle of incidence is 40 when light waves travel from dense medium into the rare medium, so what will be the angle of refraction? So in a dense medium, whenever light or ray traveling from dense medium into the rare medium, it always bend away from the normal. So angle of this will be incidence and this is refraction. If this is 40, then angle of refraction must be greater than 40. Correct option is option C. The focal length of a spherical mirror is equal to what? So we know that the radius of curvature is equal to 2 times focal length. So focal length will be equal to r over 2. That is half of the radius of curvature. Option B is the correct answer. Question number 36. How much charge will be deposited when two parallel plate capacitors each of 3 microfarad are connected with a battery of 50 volt. So we have to calculate the total charge, that is equals to C and V, where C is the total capacitance and V is the total voltage. So total capacitance, that as question says that the capacitors are connected in series, and both of them are 3 microfarad. So total capacitance is equals to C1 plus C2, that will be equal to 6 microfarad. So total capacitance we have is 6 microfarad, and they are connected with a 50 volt battery, so multiplied by 50. Then 6 into 50 is 330, 310 raised to the power minus 6. So after converting this into scientific notation, we will get option C, that is 3 exponent minus 4 coulomb. So correct option is option C. If the real depth of the swimming pool is 2 meters, so we have the real depth of the pool, and the refractive index of the water is 1.33. So we have to find the apparent depth of the pool. So we know that N is equals to real depth divided by apparent depth. So the apparent depth will be equal to real depth divided by refractive index. Real depth is 2 and the refractive index is 1.33. So this will be equal to 1.50. So the correct answer for this question is option B. So let's move to another question, that is question number 37. So in question number 37, when two capacitors of the capacitance 4 microfarad and 6 microfarad that are connected in series, so equivalent capacitance is to be calculated, and we know that in series the formula for the total capacitance is equals to 1 over C1 plus 1 over C2. So 1 over C will be equal to 1 over 4 and 1 over 6. So after calculating the LCM and the further simplification, it will be equal to C will become 12 over 5. This will be equal to around 2.4 microfarad. So correct option is option A. Question number 37. A hair comb becomes positively charged when rubbed with hairs. So, whenever we know that when the body becomes positive charge, it means it has gained the negative charges, and negative charges are gained by that material through which the body is rubbed. So, the correct option is option C, because hair comb is rubbed with hairs, and hair comb is hairs are rubbed with comb, so hair become positive charge because comb loses electrons to the hair. So the correct option is option C. Question number 32. Which of the following statement is false about the electric field lines? So these electric field lines, they never intersect each other, and they start from positive terminate and terminate into the negative charge. This is also correct, and they try to follow the longest path. So they are the vector quantities because they have a particular direction, that is from positive to negative charge. So the correct option is they try to follow the longest path. So this is the false statement about the electric field line. So the correct option is option C. Let's come to question number 38 and 40. Which of the following is true about the type and the magnitude of charge? So we know that these electric field lines are moving away from the charge. It means they both charge are positive, and the magnet electric field lines around those charges are uniform and of the same symmetric pattern. It means the magnitude of charge is also same. So correct option is option B. Question number 40. Which of the following is correct representation of electric field lines? So among those four diagrams, we know that in option A, the electric field lines are moving away from the positive charge. This is the incorrect diagram. This is the incorrect diagram and this is the incorrect diagram. So correct option for question number 40 is option A. So next we have a last question, that is question number 39. The force acting per unit charge is known as what? So this is the simple definition of electric field intensity, that the force acting per unit charge is equal to electric field intensity. Correct option is option D. So next we have this ATP paper of our midterm exam. So let's see in question number 1. In the given diagram, which pair of angles states the angle of incidence and the angle of refraction respectively? So in this given diagram, this is normal, this is incident ray, and this is refracted ray. So the angle between I and N is the angle of incidence, and this is the angle between normal and refracted rays. So this is angle R. So 1 and 4 are the angle of incidence and angle of refraction. In question number 3, a simple pendulum is allowed to oscillate on the surface of Earth as a time period of 5 seconds. So, at the surface of Earth, this pendulum vibrates with a time period of 5 seconds. If the same pendulum is taken to the moon, what will be the effects on its time period? So, we know that time period is inversely proportional to the square root of g, and at the surface of Earth, gravitational acceleration is 10 around 10 meter per second square, and gravitational acceleration on moon is 1.6 meter per second square. So as on the surface of moon the gravitational acceleration is low, so the time period will increase. So question number 3, the correct answer for question number 3 is option B. So let's come to next question, that is question number 2 and question number 4. So which of the following pendulum has the least time period? So in those four pendulums, they all have different lengths. So time period is directly proportional to the square root of length. So the greatest length will have the greatest time period. So this option D is the correct answer for this question number 2. Which of the question number 4, which of the following depict the appropriate change in wavelength and speed of the water waves when they pass from deep region to the shallow region of the water? We know that during the refraction of water waves, when they travel from deep to shallow region, these both quantities, speed and wavelength, decreases because they are directly proportional to each other. So question number 4, option A is the correct answer. Next, we have question number 5. A light ray enters from medium A to medium B as shown in this figure. So, we have to compare the refractive index of B relative to A. So, in this diagram, this is the incident ray, this is the refracted ray, and this line is normal. As we know that this ray is moving towards the normal. This is the incident ray. It has bent towards the normal. It's mean this will be our rare medium and this will be our dense medium. So rare medium has less refractive index while B will have more refractive index than A. So the correct option is option A. So let's come to next question, that are question 6 and question 8. And this given diagram, which of the following represent the angle of deviation? So this is our incident ray and this is our emerging ray. So this emerging ray has deviated from this original path. So this angle that is known as angle of deviation. So option D, that is angle 4, is the correct answer. Question number 8, which of the following about the given diagram is true? So angle AOD equals to BOD. So angle AOD is the angle of incidence and BOD is the angle of reflection. We know that these two angles are always equal. Similarly, AOD is equals to COB. COB is this angle and there is no relation between these two angles. It means this is incorrect. AOD greater than COE. AOD, this is the angle of incidence, and COE is this angle. So as the ray is moving from A to water, it bends towards the normal. It means that AOD will be greater than the COE. It means this statement is also correct. So option 1 and 3 are correct. It means the option B is the correct answer for this question. Let's see question number 7. Which of the diagram shows showing the correct path of the ray passing through the convex lens? So we have four options, and among those four options, let's see which diagrams are correct. This is the correct answer because incident ray strikes the optical center, it passes straight through it. This is the correct diagram because incident ray is parallel and passing through focus. And this is the correct answer because the incident ray passes through focus and become parallel. So option 4 is the incorrect answer. So we have 1, 2, and 3 that are correct. So option C is the right answer for this question. Question number 9. If the mass of the bob of pendulum is increased by the factor of 3, so what will be the effect on the time period of the pendulum? So we know that time period is independent of the mass, so the time period will remain same after increasing the time period. So correct option is option C. So let's move to another question that we have question number 10. In the given diagram, an object is placed at 2f. So this is the position of object in front of a converging lens. Then what will be the distance from the optical center and the image of the object? So we have to find the distance of image. So as we know that when object is placed at 2f, so its image is also formed at 2f and its magnification is 1. So at 2f, the distance of this object is 20 centimeter. So image will be formed at 2f and sorry, image will be formed at 2f and the size and distance of this image will be same as the object. So the correct option is option C, 20 centimeters. So let's come to another question. So this was the last question, question number 10 from our this midterm examination paper.